What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Talkin Sports with Jake. We got another great show for you guys. Free agency for MLB is underway. We've had a couple of smaller deals. The San Diego Padres extended one of their best relief pitchers, Robert Suarez. He re-signed for 5 years and $47 million. Astros re-signed Rafael Montero, who's one of their best relievers, was pretty much their top setup man to the closer Ryan Pressly this year, was a big part of why they won the World Series. He re-signed for 3 years and a little over $34 million. He came up with the New York Mets, was a top-tier starting pitching prospect, was a complete failure, but has turned into a very good reliever. When we went to Seattle, was pretty good, and he got traded to Houston, and he has turned into a very good reliever, so good for him. Still is not nearly matching the potential that he once had, but he is making some sort of a career out of himself, and now he has a World Series ring. So he is back in Houston. The Dodgers are finalizing a one-year deal with Clayton Kershaw, their longtime future Hall of Fame starting pitcher, a one-year deal worth around $20 million. So it appears Kershaw will be once again back with the Dodgers. There was once again speculation like there was last year that he might go to Texas because he's from there. He's much older now. Nothing else to prove. He's already going to the Hall of Fame, already has his World Series ring, but it looks like he'll be back with the Dodgers. Yeah, obviously a lot of rumors swirling around. The Texas Rangers, just Jacob deGrom, but of course the top starting pitcher on the market this year. When healthy, the best pitcher in baseball. He told the Texas Rangers he's interested in signing now, so we'll see what happens with him. And on the other news in MLB, the Houston Astros, just 6 days after winning the World Series, they fired their general manager, James Click, which does not make a lot of sense. He's been there 3 seasons. They brought him in. He worked his way up the ranks in Tampa. He got an opportunity after the Astros fired manager A.J. Hinch and general manager Jeff Luhnow right before the 2020 season because of the cheating scandal. They brought in James Click to be GM, brought him over. He was an executive in Tampa, and then they brought in, of course, Dusty Baker to manage the ball club. But Dusty Baker signed his one-year deal, so he's officially back for 2023. Of course, Baker's done a great job. They've won a World Series. They were never thinking about moving on, but Dusty Baker is also 73 years old. You got to make sure he actually wants to manage. And he only got a one-year probably because, he won't be doing this in 5 years, so there's no reason to give him a 4-year deal. So he's been signing one-year deals pretty much his entire time there. So he's officially back. Supposedly there was some tension between Click and the Astros owner Jim Crane. There was some speculation within the industry that if a World Series win did not occur, if Astros did not win the World Series, Click would have been fired. Although they did win the World Series, his contract expired right after the World Series. During the World Series, it expired on Halloween, October 31st. So Click was actually representing the Astros at the GM meetings that happened in November, and he was not even under contract with them. And then, pretty much without telling them, they went out and extended Dusty Baker. They officially signed Dusty Baker for next year, their manager. And then Click wanted a long-term extension. Crane countered. He wanted to sign him to a 1-year deal. And Click, he wanted a long-term deal, didn't want a short-term deal, so he rejected the contract, and they parted ways. They also fired his top assistant, Scott Powers. He's also been fired. I guess Crane's trying to just clean house of any, because that was a guy that Click, he handpicked to be the assistant GM, Scott Powers. So Crane just trying to get rid of all the James Click guys right now. So he got rid of Scott Powers as well. We'll see who Houston decides to bring in. Do they make an internal promotion? If the guys who are candidates for that are guys who James Click brought in, will he maybe not do that? Will there be more executives that get let go in Houston? Will they go outside the organization? We'll see what they do. Will Click be a candidate for certain jobs? Obviously New York Mets last year were trying to get a person in the baseball operations. Obviously they said that they don't expect to go after anybody and serve above Billy Epler, their general manager. Hopefully they trust Billy Epler. So he was probably the biggest offseason in the history of the New York Mets. But now that James Click is available, do they change their mind and go after him? We'll see. But he has been let go by Houston. And before we move on to hockey, the Miami Marlins made a groundbreaking hire. They hired, I believe her name is Caroline O'Connell, I believe her name is. They hired her as the team president, and the Miami Marlins are the first American sports team to have a woman be their GM and their president. So congratulations to Caroline, and kudos to the Miami Marlins. Of course, a year or two ago, they hired Kim Young as their general manager. On to hockey. Scores from last night. Stars over the Flyers 5-1. Bruins continue to stay hot. They win over the Canucks 5-2. Bruins are 14-2 this year, and they just got they're just starting to get healthy too, which is scary. Sharks over the Wild 3-2 in a shootout. Rangers over the Coyotes 4-1. Lightning over the Capitals 6-3, and the Jets over the Kraken 3-2. As for college basketball, the only game we had last night was we had an upset. Colorado upsets number 11 Tennessee 78-66. As for NBA basketball, scores from last night: Thunder over the Knicks 145-135 in the shootout. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander had 37 points and 8 assists in that game. Big game there. The Knicks might be the most mediocre team ever. You know, they're 6-7. You know, they came in that game 6-6. Now they're 6-7. Coming into that game, they had a net rating of 0, means they've scored the same amount of points that they've given up. They're like 16th in offense, like 18th in defense. They're the most middle-of-the-pack team ever. As a Knicks fan, I'm just hoping that at this point they can like squeak out, be just above 500, maybe squeak out 43 wins, and get one of the play-in spots, and hopefully come out of the play-in and at least get to the first round, which is still not that big of an accomplishment, but it's better than last year finishing in 12th in the East. However we finished. Timberwolves over the Cavs, 129-124. Minnesota trying to get going. D'Lo, 30 points, 12 assists. Darius Garland, 51 points in the loss. Big game from him. Cavs were down 24 1 point, almost came back in the fourth quarter. Wizards over the Grizzlies in an upset 102-92. Porzingis had 25 points. You had the Sixers over the Jazz, 105-98. Joel Embiid with a game of a lifetime. 59 points, 11 rebounds, 8 assists, 7 blocks. He's the first player ever in NBA history to have at least 50 points, 10 boards, 5 assists, and 5 blocks in a game. What a game from Joel Embiid, who now really has to step up with James Harden out for a month with that foot injury. Nuggets over the Bulls, 126-103. Michael Porter Jr. had 31 points. You had the Kings over the Warriors, 122-115. Sabonis, 2020 game. 26 points, 22 rebounds, 8 assists. A big game from Sabonis. Warriors continue to struggle. Warriors are 5-8. Warriors are 0-7 on the road. They have not won a road game with the other Warriors. And the Lakers over the Nets, 116-103. AD monster game, 37 points, 18 rebounds. Lakers get a win. The Nets are a mess right now. Still no Kyrie. 116-103. Lakers pick up a win. College football results from last week. You had number 8 USC over Colorado, 55-17. The top team in the world, Georgia, they beat Mississippi State, 45-19. Number 2, Ohio State over Indiana, 56-14. Number 3, Michigan over Nebraska, 34-3. Number 4, TCU over number 18, Texas, 17-10. TCU, they're having some year. Looks like they'll be in the top 4 this year. They got a good chance. Should have been in the Big 12. Number 5, Tennessee over Missouri, 66-24. This kid Hendon Hooker is playing some great football this year. In upset, number 25, Washington over number 6, Oregon, 37-34. That is a huge development in the Pac-12. So we'll see if USC overtakes Oregon for the top seed in the Pac-12 right now. We'll see where that goes. It was 34-34, late in overtime. Oregon went for it on 4th and 1, and the disastrous play. The running back slipped. They didn't get it, and Washington ended up scoring a game-winning field goal. No, not in overtime. That was in regulation with about 51 seconds left. Washington kicked a field goal, which ended up being the game winner. So a very controversial decision. My take on that is I don't mind them going for it. I mean, their defense is giving up 34 points. There's not a lot of defense in college football, especially in the Pac-12. You know, but also, like, why are you in the shotgun 4th and 1? You're basically saying it's either going to be a pass or it's going to be a delayed handoff. it's one of two things. I agree with the decision to go for it. I don't mind that. Because, there's a chance if you punt the ball back, they can go down the field and score a field goal as time expires. And this is a huge game, because now they're not going to the college football playoff. They may have a shot to still win the Pac-12, may have a shot to play USC in the Pac-12 championship game. But you got a lot of other good teams in the Pac-12. Utah's right there. You just lost to Washington, who's now, I'm sure, is going to move up in the rankings. A bunch of teams are right there. So at the very least, their chances of getting into the top 4, which looked very much alive going into this game. They were ranked 6, only had 1 loss, are gone. Number 7, LSU over Arkansas, 13-10. LSU really grinded out that victory. Looks like they might be in the SEC championship. Number 9, Alabama, a hard-fought win over number 11, Ole Miss, 30-24. That was a great game. Number 10, Clemson over Louisville, 31-16. A big upset. We had Arizona over number 12 UCLA, 34-28. What's going on in the Pac-12? So USC looks like the best team right now. You got number 13 Utah over Stanford, 42-7. So maybe Utah plays USC in the Pac-12 championship. Who knows? Number 14 Penn State shuts out Maryland, 30-0. You had number 15 UNC over Wake Forest, 36-34. UNC is having a great year, 9-1, 6-0 in the ACC. Could it be Clemson against UNC in the ACC championship game? That's what it's looking like right now. Wilson College over number 16 NC State, 21-20. NC State's been struggling a bit. Number 20 UCF over number 17 Tulane, 38-31. That's a bit of an upset in the American Conference. Number 19 Kansas State, they beat Baylor, 31-3. Number 20 Notre Dame over Navy, 35-32. Purdue upsets number 21 Illinois, 31-24. Number 23 Florida State over Syracuse, 38-3. And Vanderbilt with a monumental upset. They beat number 24 Kentucky, 24-21. I think that was their first SEC win in like over 1,300 days. So another wild week of college football. As for your NFL scores, of course, on Thursday night football, you had the Panthers over the Falcons, 25-15. Baltimore looked like crap that game. I think it's time for Desmond Ritter. Mariota is terrible. He is not a starting caliber quarterback. He's not good. Put Ritter in. I know they're 4-6, even though they're only 4-6. I know they're only a game out of first place, and that division's horrible. But put Ritter in. Mariota is not it. They're not gonna. You think, all right, they need to win. Let's say 9 might be a number they need to get to. So they need to go. You're thinking 5-2 rest of the way with Mariota. Not gonna happen. Will it happen with Ritter? Maybe not. But I just don't see it. And my Panthers, PJ Walker got hurt, high ankle sprain, so Baker Mayfield will start this week. Bucks over the Seahawks in Germany, 21-16. Kudos to that crowd. That crowd was one of the best crowds the NFL's had in a long time. Singing Country Road, the entire stand, that was very cool. Bucks pick up a win. You saw that trick play didn't work in that game with Brady. That was actually pretty funny. Brady kind of made fun of himself on Twitter. He tweeted out saying that if I didn't trip, that's Randy over the top. And he was referring to Randy Moss, who of course he played with all those years. But Bucks do pick up the win in that game. They get to 5-5. They're in first, sole position the first in the NFC South. Vikings over the Bills, 33-30. It was probably the game in the air, back and forth. You had Allen fumbles on his own goal line with 40 seconds left. They force overtime, but the Vikings win. Kirk Cousins play. He had some big throws late in the game. Vikings are 8-1 now. They are for real this year. Lions over the Bears, 31-30. Okay, I just want to say this. Poor Justin Fields. That poor man. The kid can play. He ran for another 140-plus yards. The kid can play. Get him some help. That poor man. Chiefs over the Jaguars, 27-17. These Jaguars, they have now lost 6 of the last 7 games. They are not executing properly. They could have won that game, too. Dolphins over the Browns, 31-17. Tua played another really good game. He's looked a lot better this year. Giants over the Texans, 24-16. They're a big game from Saquon Barkley. Steelers over the Saints, 20-10. The Saints look horrendous. They have a lot of injuries. They are now just 3-7. Somehow only 2 games out of first in that horrendous NFC South. And now Dennis Allen did not commit to a starter when it will be Andy Dalton, who struggled in the win, or Jameis Winston. So we'll see if they go back to Jameis or not. You got the Titans over the Broncos, 17-10. Russell Wilson, another below-average game. Broncos are a dumpster fire. Russ has got to go, even though he's signed for 7 more years. Now Jerry Jeudy might be hurt on top of all the other guys that are hurt. Nathaniel Hackett's horrendous. Good Lord. The Colts over the Raiders, 25-20. Jeff Saturday, he was a high school football coach last year. 2 weeks ago, was an analyst for ESPN. A couple weeks ago, he was on First Take arguing with Stephen A. Smith because that's literally his job as an NFL analyst. Now he's head coach. In his first game as interim coach, he beats the Raiders. The Raiders, good God, 2-7. Took all this crap this offseason, adding Devontae Adams. 2-7. By the way, Josh McDaniels, the worst coach in the NFL. He is garbage. He is straight trash. He's good as gone. Get him out of there. I mean, at this point, I would just find some other high school football coach and put him in there. I mean, it works for the Colts, it worked for the Raiders. Derek Carr is crying after the game. I don't know if he's crying because he's frustrated. You know, he's just trying to find a way to, wrap his head around that, McDaniels, the head coach, he says that he likes him. Maybe he means as a person. I hope, because I don't know how you like him as a coach. I think McDaniels is back in New England in the next 2 months, at least. He's back in New England by at least next year. The dude has no idea what he's doing. Packers over the Cowboys in the crazy game, 31-28 in overtime. Crazy game. Packers came back down 2 touchdowns. Dallas blew that one. Aaron Rodgers continues to own the Dallas Cowboys. Cardinals over the Rams, 27-17. Both teams have their backup quarterbacks in. Rams, their season might be over. Stafford's really showing. Now he's hurt. You know, the running game, Cam Akers might be the league's best back. They're not playing him. I doubt he wants to be. Now Cooper Kupp might need to miss time. Maybe the league's best receiver. They're in trouble. And then on Sunday Night Football last night, 49ers over the Chargers, 22-16. And poor Justin Herbert, that poor man. So many injured receivers. And then tonight, Monday Night Football, Philadelphia Eagles put their undefeated 8-0 record on the line against an NFC East opponent in the Washington Commanders. That's what I got for football. Let's talk some wrestling. Recap from Raw last week. Austin Theory failed to cash in on Seth Rollins. Yes, Austin Theory failed to cash in his Money in the Bank contract on a mid-card title. He went downhill quick. I've never seen a guy who was handpicked to be like the next John Cena, it seemed like, and now he's pretty much rock bottom. And as we continue, by the way, Smooth is going to come on here. You know him. He's been on my show many times before. He's going to hop on. And we're going to talk whatever he wants to talk about. But yeah, Austin Theory failed to cash in on Seth Rollins. Smooth, how we doing?
Why the NFL is such a really bad product.
It's not good this year.
It's garbage. Like you said, the Rams their season's done.
Yeah.
They don't even look like a Super Bowl winning team. From last year to this year, Stafford's not 100%. They're like Cam Akers doesn't even want to be there. It's kind of like the same thing happened to Tampa Bay last year, by the way. Even though they didn't make the playoffs and lose, but the owners try to run it back with the same guys, right? General manager's like, yeah, let's run it back with the same guys. Let's do all the same things. And you know what? 9 times out of 10, that stuff doesn't work unless your name is Bill Belichick.
Yeah.
And you're the New England Patriots. And I hate when teams try to copy what other teams are doing. Perfect example. Look at the Las Vegas Raiders.
Yes.
They bring in 2 New England guys.
Yep. How's that working out?
Yeah, right. Josh McDaniels is not an NFL coach.
Correct.
He has never been.
Never.
There's a reason why most teams won't hire him, because he's not an NFL coach. I mean, if you thought he did really bad in Denver with the Broncos, he's got players around him that are actually pretty good.
Yeah.
In Las Vegas, but he doesn't know how to coach them. And then They trade for Devontae Adams, which I've always liked Devontae Adams. It was about the money, and Green Bay wasn't going to. Green Bay pays nobody unless you're the quarterback.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the truth. I mean, there's not unless your name's Aaron Rodgers, Brett Favre, or if you were the quarterback of the Packers, you're getting paid. Other than that, the rest of the guys, you're not even bothering. I mean, it's like let's go get this guy in the third round, fourth round. Let's get let's get this guy off the waiver wire, whatever the case may be. But it's funny because there was some really the Buffalo game against Minnesota. I thought was very good, very entertaining. And I heard yesterday on these very color-cast airwaves, they were bagging on Josh Allen not being an elite quarterback, and I'm like, I kind of agree right now because
he's had some bad turnover his last couple games.
Right, Buffalo Bills, dude. No, you know this. They need a running back.
Yeah,
they never addressed it. They expect Josh Allen to run the ball and throw the ball, and that's not going to work in this day and week. You need a running back to get you the yards late in the game. Like if you need a 3rd and 1 late in the game, you got to have a running back to get you a first down. You can't expect your quarterback to get you a first down running the ball late in games. And that's the Buffalo Bills' MO for years now with Josh Allen is they've never addressed the running game, and they can't continually throw the ball to just Stephon Diggs. They need other wide receivers. They don't have anybody. And that's the fault of management in Buffalo not addressing the situation and then putting all your eggs in pretty much 2 baskets in Diggs and Allen and also Von Miller. You need some guys late in games to put the game away for you. And I don't think the Bills have that. Are the Vikings really good at 8-1? I don't know, man.
They've had an easy schedule, but they just beat the Bills, though.
Right. But it's funny. And are the Giants that good?
Yeah.
They're what? 6-2?
7-2.
7-2, right? And they're playing really. I mean, they played also a not very hard schedule. I don't think. But at the same token, they win their games. I mean, you got to give them credit for winning. And then, the Lions winning against Chicago, it's like, oh, God. Now we're going to hear, okay, so now the Lions pick 8 in the draft. They have the 8th pick, and then they got the pick from the Rams for the Stafford deal, so they pick 8 and 11 right now.
Wow, that's very good.
In Detroit, is Jared Goff your quarterback for the next year or two? No.
I hope not, for their sake.
Here's the thing, Jake. If you signed Jared Goff for one more year, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, one more year. You're a number 8 and 11 in the draft. You're not getting a quarterback at number 8 or number
unless
11
you move up,
because they're going to be gone by then. Right, unless you move up. So are you willing to trade away 2 draft picks? Because you're going to have to give up both to move up, obviously. Mm-hmm. Are you willing to move up 2 draft picks? Not sign Jared Goff and get, I don't know, C.J. Stroud or name another quarterback.
Bryce Young, Hendon Hooker, maybe, depending on how you're on those 2 guys.
But here's the thing: are those guys ready to play in the NFL right now? I don't think so.
They won't. I don't think they're gonna jump in off the page in week 1. I mean, Goff is not the quarterback of the future, obviously, but do you cut Goff just to get Stroud? I don't know.
You're giving a lot up.
Yeah.
To get C.J. Stroud, if you do, because you're gonna cut Goff. You're gonna give up 2 draft picks to move up to get him. So, and the funny thing is, they're only like 1.5 games out of a playoff position right now, which is really weird. It's like, oh boy. So, but it's funny you mentioned the Bucs. By the way, ever since Tom Brady got divorced, he's 2-0.
That's pretty funny.
Good damn. But at the end of the day, excuse me, I think, and we said this from the beginning of the season, man. The Buccaneers, that's their division to lose.
Absolutely.
Atlanta's terrible. Carolina's awful. And the New Orleans Saints are terrible.
Mm.
Don't be surprised if the Bucs win the division like at 9-8.
I can easily see that.
Yeah, or even 10, like 9-8, 10-7. I mean, I did say 10-7 to start the year. At the beginning of the year, I'm like, there's going to be some games that they lose, in some games that they should have won, that they lose to, like losing to the Carolina Panthers and not scoring any points, that's like an atrocity. Like,
that was horrendous. Garbage. That was embarrassing.
And you let PJ Walker beat you. Like, PJ Walker's an XFL quarterback. And he's hurt, by the way. So now when you got in Carolina, you got Mayfield. And whatever happened to Sam Darnold? Oh, wait, he's not going to be there next year either. So it's just the league. Me personally, dude, the league is not like you have. Honestly, how many like in the AFC other than the Chiefs? Can you name one? Maybe Buffalo. Other than that, are there any good teams in the AFC?
Miami's playing well.
Miami's okay.
The Jets have had an easy schedule. I'm happy the Jets fans, they're finally looking somewhat good. They just beat the Bills. Titans are pretty good. That's really it.
They struggle in the playoffs, though.
Yeah, and the Ravens have blown 3 games. Should be 9-0. They're pretty good, but
right. Yeah, but Lamar Jackson in their postseason's awful.
He has not been good. He has not been good.
No, he's a very no, I'm wrong. Very good regular season quarterback. In the playoffs, he's garbage because defenses are like, hey, we're gonna put 8-9 guys in a box. We're gonna make you throw. And you beat us by throwing, hey, good for you. But if you can't beat us if you can beat us by throwing, good. If we're not gonna help you run.
Yeah.
Sure. So that's the thing too. And you, real quick, before I let you go, you mentioned Austin Theory.
Yeah.
Dude, okay, first of all, ever since Triple H took over the WWE, like the creative part, the whole running the organization, the product has been better.
Yes.
But the guys that Vince McMahon pushed or guys he let go, they're all like either like Bray Wyatt's back, which is awesome.
Yes.
Braun Strowman's back.
Mm-hmm.
Like what's her name? Maya Kim's back.
Yes.
A bunch of people are back that Vince cut. And then he pushed Austin Theory, right? And Austin Theory, dude, you're
he fell off
telling
a
me
cliff.
you cash your money in the bank contract on a United States championship? Are you serious right now?
I just think Triple H he did not want Arthur to be a next world champion. He wanted him to get rid of that briefcase. I just didn't think he didn't see a scenario where he tries it on Roman and fails. I mean, everyone knows he's not going to be cash in on Roman. Roman's got 5 guys at ringside who are he won't even get to Roman. You know what? Let's just have this like full kind of like funny thing on Seth Rollins, I guess.
And you know what's funny? Is like who right now? Can you name one guy in the WWE roster that can beat Roman Reigns?
McIntyre has a shot. I don't think I can.
I don't think you can. I think it's. I hate to say it. It's Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, and
that's the only guy. Maybe Lashley, but even that's a stretch.
There's nobody right now, really.
No, not really.
I don't like Brock Lesnar. They're not going to put Brock Lesnar against Roman Reigns.
I mean,
for the
he could, but he's not. He's a part-time guy, and we've had enough Roman and Brock matches.
Right, and then so I mean, there's like I personally do not want to see Bray Wyatt fight Roman Reigns for the title yet.
Not yet.
Please don't.
Not yet.
No.
Eventually, yes. Not yet.
Right, because remember, he was a world champion at one time. I mean, I don't know if people remember that, but he was a world champion, Bray Wyatt was. But it wasn't very long. Mm-hmm. Like, the whole Randy Orton thing was just weird. Like,
it was very, very unorthodox, for sure. Mm. But yeah, so Theory loses Money in the Bank.
It's crazy, like, right, but it's crazy that, like all the guys that Vince pushed, like they're not even like non-existent anymore. Like Theory's a guy, and then I want your opinion about Survivor Series, like the War Games thing. I think it's pretty cool.
I'm very excited.
But I kind of miss the old school days of like teams of 4, like with the cool names like the Hulkamaniacs versus the Natural Disasters. I miss those days. So that's what the Survivor Series was about. And I think, they got away from that because everybody was just kind of like their own individual. There was no But could you imagine? Like, I like the War Games scenario, and I hope that actually revitalizes Survivor Series. So I want you. What do you think of that?
I'm very happy. The current format sucked. It got very stale. Survivor Series became a really bad pay-per-view, and I think this is definitely going to re-energize it. You already have you're going to have the OC against Judgment Day, I would think. Now that the OC got a fourth member, you're going to have Bianca Belair's faction against Damage Control. You have a couple of big championship matches, so I think it's going to be a lot better. I'm far from opposed to going back to old school, but I do really like what Triple H is doing with Survivor Series right now.
Well, you mentioned the Damage Control. They have and Nikki Cross is on that team, so it's 5-on-5, right? So you'll have one more person.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure if they'll add. I'm not sure if we'll see what Nikki Cross. I'm not sure if maybe does Bianca Belair find somebody else. I'm not sure.
Well, yeah, they're gonna have to have. It's gonna have to be. I think if you look at the promo poster, it's 5-on. It's 5-on-5. So there's like a blank right now for it's Nikki Cross, Damage Control, and then someone else. We don't know who. They'll probably announce it on Raw tonight because it's right around the corner, isn't it? Like next weekend.
It's definitely within the next couple of weeks for sure. Yeah, I'm not sure if they're going to do all 5-on-5. I mean, if the OC versus Judgment Day could be a 4-on-4 match because each team has four people now.
Which is perfect.
Yeah, with obviously Bianca's faction only has 3. It's Bianca and it's Asuka and Alexa Bliss. I'm not sure who else they're gonna pick.
Wouldn't it be kind of ironic if Sasha Banks and Naomi showed up?
That's interesting. Sasha at on Crown Jewel, she posted like a video on social media saying like, oh, the day I've been waiting for is coming. And everyone's like, is she gonna show up at Crown Jewel? And then she didn't, and she hasn't showed up on Raw or SmackDown since. So I know Triple H has tried to get her back. I know she was not happy with the way things were going. I'm not sure if Vince leaving. I'm not sure if it was a Vince issue or just an overall company issue. He is trying to get her back. She's definitely gonna be tough to get back. Maybe she does. Maybe she shows up.
I think that would be awesome if you had Sasha and Naomi show up at Survivor Series.
That'd be great.
Bianca Belair's team. That'd be awesome. So real quick, what do you think of AEW and the pay-per-view that's coming up shortly? Because you got MJF versus Moxley. Honestly, MJF's winning. That's obvious.
Yeah.
Please don't have him lose. Oh, God.
I mean, with that pay-per-view, I tried watching
it's going to be awesome.
I think it's going to be good. I tried watching AEW. I was having a little trouble following it, so I turned it off. It's definitely a different style of wrestling. WWE is a little more structured, which makes sense because they've been around for God knows how many decades. AEW's only been around for 3 years or so, and there's obviously a lot more build-up. There's a lot more promos in WWE. In WWE, a little more scripted. AEW is a little less scripted. There's a little more like intensity. So it's two different styles. I don't really get why like AEW keeps throwing shots at WWE and WWE does some slow jabs back. I wish they can just be like, yo, I wish Triple H and Tony would sit down and be like, all right, I have my company, you have your company, do your thing, I'll do my thing. Let's not be rivals. Let's just wrestle and let's just film more shows. Move on.
I like the AEW wrestling product itself because they have some really good matches. Like there's some really but the overall build up for matches, it just seems for AEW seems really weird.
It is.
It's just and then they let the inmates run the asylum in AEW. Like they let pretty much the Young Bucks, CM Punk, Omega, when Cody Rhodes was there, they pretty much let them run the show, and it's kind of like, dude, you're Tony Khan, you're a billionaire, dude. You need to set your guys down.
Also, he's not a wrestling guy. He's not a wrestler. No. He's not a wrestling guy. He's just a rich guy. He's just a rich guy that likes wrestling.
Right.
Like, obviously Triple H is a wrestling guy. Obviously.
I don't know. I'm not a. You know, I don't know about you, dude. Why in the world is Jeff Jarrett in AEW?
I have no idea. He does not fit there. He should retire. He's so old.
It's a really bad look. You know, it's just, to me, it's just weird. Because are we going to have Jarrett and Sting wrestle one more time? You know, please don't.
Jarrett and Sting.
You know what, dude? I hate to say it. AEW is starting to turn a little bit into WCW back in the day.
I definitely see that for sure.
Yeah. When they were bringing in guys, like, you know, they brought in, you know, Jon Moxley and CM Punk and Bryan Danielson and Cesaro. And the guys that built that company that were so, like Hangman Adam Page and Sammy Guevara, Darby Allin,
Cody Rhodes.
Give me who else? Cody.
He's
Rhodes.
Gone now, obviously.
But the guys that have been there since the beginning that you didn't really hear about, like they were on the independent scene. That's what made it so good. Now you got guys. You got Ring of Honor guys. You got like Jay Lethal, Samoa Joe. What's the Ring of Honor shits? That, you know what? Have them do their own. I know he owns Ring of Honor, but they got to do their own thing.
Yeah.
Seriously, it's kind of like really like I don't know about you, dude. Well, I just seem like every person there has a belt.
I know, literally.
Seriously, like you got Ring of Honor, like you know, you got Chris Jericho is the Ring of Honor World Champion. You got what's his name? Daniel Garcia is the whatever the pure champion is, whatever that is. You know, Samoa Joe is the television champion. Then you got the tag belt. By the way, best tag team in the world is FTR. Did I say that right?
I don't follow AEW. I mean, the Usos are one of the greatest of all time. They just broke the New Day's record, but that team is very good.
Do you think they're better than New Day?
Who?
The Usos.
Those are two of the greatest. I think I have a slight edge to the New Day.
Yeah, I do too, because they're just more entertaining.
Yeah.
And they actually can talk on a microphone.
Yeah.
You gotta get the mic away from Jimmy and Jey Uso. It's like, dude, just let Paul Heyman talk for you guys. You're fine. You know, I don't want to hear we since day one. You know, dude, let it go. You know, and it's funny because like Xavier Woods and Kofi Kingston can talk circles around him. Even Big E. Langston, who wasn't very much of a microphone guy when he was there.
He was fun. He was funny.
Yeah. He could do better than those two guys.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like, come on, dude. What are we doing here? Yeah, it's just bad. But me personally, I think the New Day is by far, if not one of the greatest tag teams, but one of the greatest factions.
Absolutely.
In WWE history.
Absolutely.
You know, I think
they got 11. They got 11 titles. 11.
Right. You could put
8
them right up there with DX.
9.
You could put them up with
DX.
Yeah. You could put them up there with the NWO, the original NWO. Thank you. Not the weird shit that they did back in the day. You know, everybody was in the NWO before you know it. It's like, hey, you're in there. Oh, you're in there. You're in there too. So yeah, like you could put them right there with DX, the NWO. That's really, I can't think of any other really good faction in the WWE back in the day. That was it. Like I love DX. I thought the NWO and WCW was great. The reincarnation of it in WWE was just stupid.
They were old.
It was bad.
They're just old.
They were old but you gotta give some credit where credit's due. The Rock versus Hulk Hogan was by far one of the best
great match.
WWE matches of all time. Oh, dude, I was there. I was there at the Sky Dome.
Oh, wow.
That was awesome, dude. That whole day was just amazing. Like, the card from top to bottom was probably one of the best WrestleMania cards they've ever had. You know, you had Ric Flair and The Undertaker in a street fight, and they were just fighting all over the place.
Wow.
And Van Dam fought somebody.
Van Dam.
You had Scott Hall against Steve Austin.
Wow.
Yeah, that card was lit. And then the one after that at the Astrodome in Houston was really good. That was the TLC match with the Hardys and the Dudleys.
They had some amazing matches. Those teams.
When they did the WrestleMania match, you know, TLC, where Edge speared Jeff Hardy off.
That was crazy.
The belt. Oh my God. Oh, I thought he was dead. But it was just like that stuff. They need to get back to that type of like the Attitude Era. To me personally, in the WWE is one of the best.
Oh, the greatest era ever.
Because they just like it was pretty much let's just kind of like let's just make it happen. Let's just put some really good matches together. And you had some really good wrestlers. You had, The Rock, Steve Austin, Jericho, Triple H, and the list goes on. Mick Foley. As much as I think he's okay, I still think The Undertaker, Kane. There's so many great guys in that era. It's just so good to watch every week. Like I do. When I was growing up, when I was younger, it's like first thing I did Monday night. I gotta watch Raw. Now I'm like I don't even care.
Yeah.
It's like okay, turn to change station. Monday Night Football's on. Eagles Commanders. Oh, gotta change station. Eagles are winning by 20. so it is what it is. But hey, buddy, it's always a pleasure. I love calling on your show.
Thank you. Well, I'm glad you do.
Also, I think you need 1-800-CALL-JAKE.
Yep, that's right.
Do you have your number up and running yet or no?
I do.
You do. Seriously, you do. You gotta have it, man. People can call in the show all the time, and you be golden, dude. Make sure you get some advertisements. Make sure you reach out to guys like Pepsi and Coke and Doritos or whatever you want. Be like, hey, man. By the way, I'm sure you're on YouTube, so people can see what you're doing, right?
Yes.
There you go. Are you live on YouTube right now?
Yeah.
Oh, you really? Sweet mother of pearl. Hey, everybody on YouTube. What's up? Sweet. By the way, Smooth Milk in the house with one Jake from Talking Sports with Jake on
That's
a
right.
Monday. So
That's right.
On that note, always a pleasure, brother. And hey, I see there's Patrick Rush in the house.
Yeah, he's in the chat.
You still see him? Okay. Tell him that the Lions are still garbage. He knows it. And my Bucks are 5-5 in the worst division of football. So, anyways, have a great day and see ya.
Thank you, Smooth. Have a good one. Smooth comes on my show a lot. He's a lot of fun to talk with. Just gonna wrap up with some wrestling. Austin Theory cashed in on a mid-card title and lost. He has a large fall from grace. You had Bianca Belair, Asuka, and Alexa Bliss came to the ring. They called out Damage Control, and a big fight happened. And then Nikki Cross defeated Dana Brooke for the 24/7 title, and then she threw a title in the trash. And the 24/7 title has been officially retired. Thank God. It was stupid anyway. Then you had the Bloodline defeat the New Day and Matt Riddle in a tag match. You had Baron Corbin over Cedric Alexander, Otis over Elias, The Miz over Johnny Gargano. That was Raw. On SmackDown, you had the Usos in the main event. They beat the New Day and retained their tag team titles. They are now the longest reigning tag team champions in the history of WWE. Usos and New Day. That's an incredible rivalry. Usos are now the longest reigning champs ever. You had in the SmackDown World Cup, whoever wins that tournament will face Gunther for the Intercontinental Championship. First round started. Santo Escobar defeated Shinsuke Nakamura in the first round. He had some help from his friends at ringside. You had Bray Wyatt and LA Knight had to run in backstage, and then Wyatt headbutted LA Knight and knocked him to the floor. And they got up, turned around, and Bray Wyatt was gone. And then the six-pack challenge, and the winner would challenge Ronda Rousey for the SmackDown Women's Championship. Shotzi came out on top, and then backstage she was doing an she was backstage. Then Shayna Baszler, who's partnering with Ronda Rousey now, was getting in her face, saying like you're gonna get destroyed. Shotzi was like, that's what you think. I'm gonna shock the world, and then Shayna was like, tell it to her face. She turns around. And she starts talking, but then Shayna Baszler locks her in a sleeper hold. And then, while Ricochet was doing an interview, Gunther said that he helped Ricochet win, so that he can beat him again. Then you had another first-round matchup. You had Braun Strowman defeating Jinder Mahal without much issue. In a tag team match, you had the Viking Raiders, and returning Sarah Logan. Sarah Logan is back. They laid out Hit Row and the Legado del Fantasma, where those two tag teams are in a feud right now, and now Viking Raiders and Sarah Logan. So that'll be interesting. You got three, Hit Row, which is top dollar. You got the other guy, and then B-Fab. And then Legado del Fantasma is Zelina Vega, it's Santos, and then there's the other guy. And then the Viking Raiders, of course, two big guys now they have Sarah Logan. Could WWE do something with that? We'll see where that goes. That's all I got for you guys today. Thank you to everyone who tuned in. Until next time, so long, and have a great day.